Hi, I'm Keith McEvoy, CEO of Success That Works and founder of SuperCharge Academy. One of the main things I get complaints from clients is basically they're too busy, they're too stressed, they're overworked, they're expected to do way more with way less, and the list goes on. They can't get home in time for dinner, they can't meet their friends, they have to be in work early, they have to take abuse from the boss, they keep missing deadlines. The list goes on and on and on and on. And with every one of them, I ask just a simple question, and it's, how well do you delegate? And almost always, it's always, yeah, I know I delegate fine, yeah. And as soon as you start digging and you find out, actually, they don't delegate very well at all. What they do is they manage a team, but actually they take on a lot of the burden themselves, and a lot of the extra tasks themselves, and they don't delegate back out to the team. And as a result, they're taking on all that stress. They're taking on all that extra work. They're the ones suffering. They're the ones turning off the lights every night in the office and waving goodbye to the security guard who's there going, here we go again. He's always the last person in there. But that's not how it should be. But the thing is these aren't stupid people. These are very intelligent, very smart managers and leaders. So what is it that's driving these very smart people not to do what they know they should be doing, which is to delegate? And when I have these conversations directly to them and really push them on, well, I don't think you're delegating, then all of a sudden it's like, I can't delegate. And that is what's holding all these clients back, and it's probably holding you back a bit, even if you're not aware of it yet, is you've got reasons why you're not delegating stuff that you need to be delegating. Because if you're delegating, you're doing what you should be doing as a manager, as a leader, and you're going to reap the rewards of a much better life, more recognition, you're going to be promoted, you're better able to do things, you're going to have a much better functioning team, and that's what we want. So let's have a look at the 7 reasons why, again, really overworked managers like you are not delegating. And let's figure out how we stop it and put an end to it, because we've got to do that for your own sanity and your own career. So the first one is what people say to me is, well, Keith, yeah, it's well and good doing that, but actually it's a lot easier for me to do it myself. Because, and the list goes on, it's because if I went to try and train this person, it would take me 10 minutes to go and do that, and then they'd come back and they'd be wrong and I'd have to go and do it again, and before it's all done, I'd be better off just taking the 4 hours myself and be done with it. Well, that's great, except for when that same task comes in again next week, and the week after, and the week after that. Before you know it, you have a 4-hour task on your plate, all because you wouldn't take the 30 minutes to go and figure out how to delegate this and do it properly. And let's be honest, yes, the first time you delegate, or the first time you have a task, oh yes, it's easier to do yourself. Why? Because you've got to try and figure it out. Often you're not quite sure what this task is. You don't know what the stuff coming up is. So the temptation to do it yourself is always there, and it is easier. Because delegation means you've got to invest time, and yes, there will be mistakes. Just like when you do something for the first time, right? There's always stuff you think, oh yeah, I can improve on that. That's going to be the same with your delegation. But that is certainly not a reason or an excuse not to delegate. So next time you hear yourself saying, but it'd be easier to do it myself, think long term. Think, well, hang on a second. Is it easier for me to do it myself today and next week and the week after? It's not. Invest the time now to go and make that happen. The second one, I love this one, is I have no one to delegate to. My team is so busy. My team is not skilled enough. My team is, the list is there to infinity, right? That's just not true. It's just not true. If you have no one to delegate to, right, first of all, you've been asked if that really is true, then you've just got too much work for you and your team. You need to have a conversation with your boss, okay? Simple as that. But that is maybe 5% of the cases. Most of the time, the no one is actually, I haven't thought about everything else I've got going on and figuring out should we be doing it or not, and then focusing on the stuff we should be focusing on. So no one is usually an excuse for, I haven't prioritized what I'm doing. And the second thing no one is quite often, I don't have the skill sets within my team to go and do this. Why? Because I always do it myself. I never built up the confidence in my team so that someone can do it. So if you're saying no one can do it, chances are that's your problem you've created, and you need to start delegating to go and fix that problem right now. The third one is redundant. And I love this one because no one ever says that, well, if I give stuff away, I might be useless after a while. When you ask a manager about that or ask a client, it never comes up. But as you dig and dig and dig, suddenly it comes up, well, if I was giving all this work away and everyone else is doing it, well, what would I do? Where's my value anymore? The answer is you're a manager, you're a leader. Your value is to give work away and to make sure it gets delivered back to you. If you're starting to get bored, guess what? Get a bigger team. Get yourself promoted. Right? That's your job. Right? Not to try and hold on to little tasks that are done at a level below where you want to be. You want to be getting time and space to allow yourself to do bigger tasks and better tasks and broader tasks so you can show yourself that you're ready to be promoted. It's the exact opposite of being redundant. You need time, you need space. So don't use that excuse, right? The more time you have, the better you are at pushing stuff down to your team and getting it done right, the more chance you're not going to be made redundant. You are going to be a key person on your company's team because you can get stuff done through people. You're a manager, you're a leader. That's exactly what you should be doing. The fourth one is past experience. Yeah. We have all been burned, really badly burned by stuff that we delegated or thought we delegated, and when push came to shove, it wasn't done right. And I remember there was a presentation actually, it wasn't for the CEO, but luckily it was supposed to be for the CEO. Luckily, he wasn't at the meeting. But what I'd done was I delegated this presentation, and someone was going away, and they actually did all the data analysis for me and gave it back. And basically got the graphs back 2 hours before the presentation. And they were wrong. They were completely wrong. First of all, the format was wrong. But as soon as I looked at the data, you could see straight away that there's something wrong with the data. So there it was, 2 hours before presentation with essentially a problem that would take 3 or 4 days to correct, right? No chance. But yeah, I was potentially going to be very burnt. But the problem was it wasn't the fact that I delegated. That wasn't the problem. The fact was I didn't delegate properly. I left it to just 2 hours before that really important presentation for the first time that I set my eyes on that. That was my problem. It was just because I didn't delegate right. It was certainly no excuse to say I'm not going to delegate in the future. Yes, I got burnt, but I know exactly why I got burnt. And I knew from then on that I was not going to leave it to the very last second to go and check on something that important. My problem, learned. That's no excuse. The fifth one is experience. Yeah. Do we actually know how to delegate? And this is overlooked all the time. It's basically assumed as a manager that you know how to delegate. Right? You've come up through the ranks, you've been doing it all your life, you know how to delegate. The fact is that 80, probably 90% of people don't delegate properly. They miss out a few key steps, like my step up here, and it makes all the difference between being effective and not effective. And if you don't know how to delegate, you're going to be a bit anxious when you start trying to hand out stuff. And that's why a lot of my clients, they hang on to it themselves because they are not sure of the outcome. They don't know the exact steps they need to guarantee each and every time. Well, guess what? This is completely learnable, and it's learnable really quickly. In fact, actually below this video, I'll put a link there, but I've got a really, really good guide that will get you delegating like a CEO in about half an hour. Right? It's pretty well foolproof. So if you want to learn how to delegate and learn really effectively, click on the link, go and educate yourself and eliminate this excuse, right? Now, the next one, this I love, right? It's a fear that some managers have, and it's a fear of being upstaged. But if they hand out all these tasks, that the people who report to them will suddenly start getting the credit for being wonderful people, and they won't be. So again, that presentation that I handed out, if I'd given the whole presentation out to one of my colleagues or one of my team workers and they'd made that presentation, would I have lost out? Would I have been overseen or not seen as good, and someone else would have got all the credit for that? And that's a genuine human fear, especially when we're working with very clever people, which I hope you are. I hope you've got really clever people on your team. But your job, again, is to almost want to be upstaged, because guess what? If 2 or 3 people on your team are seen as really clever and progressive and growing, you're going to attract the better tasks. Your team is going to get that. You're going to be able to get even more done, and you're going to bask in their glow. It always happens like that. But yeah, you're right. It does feel a bit uncomfortable sometimes, especially when you're actually sitting across the table. One of your team members is up there presenting and getting all the glory for fixing this problem that was there for yonks. And yeah, they are getting all the credit. But you got to realize is that you are getting the credit too. Everyone around the table, they know that if it wasn't for the fact you supported this person, developed that person, and gave them, as in delegated them, that task to go and do, they would never have been up there in the first place. So take credit for that and realize you're not been upstaged. You're just proving what a great leader you are. And the last one, I saved the last one because this is the commonest one, and it's hysterical. The biggest reason why overworked managers don't delegate is because they're too busy to delegate. Yeah? This cracks me up. I get told this the whole time. Keith, how on earth can I delegate? I'm too busy to delegate. Come on. I'm sure you can see the humor in it, but it would be funny, except for the fact that this is all the time. This is the main reason we don't delegate. We're just too busy. So again, I've got a really handy thing for you. I've actually done a check sheet. So again, the link below the video, part of that Delegate Like a CEO is the check sheet on that. And that check sheet, it takes about 5 minutes to delegate really well. You have 5 minutes. I guarantee you've got 5 minutes to push this off your plate. And you can see, you're clever. You know that actually if you can delegate more, you'll be less busy. If you're less busy, you'll be able to delegate more. If you're even less busy, you'll be able to delegate even more and then start doing what it is that you really want to do in life. So you know what you need to do. These are just excuses. They're excuses preventing you from getting where you need to be. So below the video, download the guide on delegating like a CEO. Go and implement it. It'll take you about half an hour. And when you do that, you'll be so much closer to getting the recognition, the reward, and the life that you truly deserve.